Bone complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Warning. Dad will use the F word often to listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Charles. We have all electric and Kelly fun cars, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street legal cars come with both 4 and 6 passengers. Tell us you heard on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing. At 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
It's less than 1 month until the Guardians of Freedom Air Show comes to Lincoln's Air Park on August 26th and 27th. The show can't happen without the efforts of volunteers, and they need your help. This is a great opportunity to raise money for organizations, sports, and others who want to be close to the high-flying action. For more details on how to volunteer at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show, visit LincolnAirShow.com.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild.
Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415. We're online, ambitionelectric.com. Today's Roofing, established in 2015, is proud to serve the local area, which includes the tri-state area in Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. H&H Roofing has a professional team that are licensed and bonded, GAF Master Certified Installers, and an insurance-preferred contractor that will work directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist. H&H Roofing will service all residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. Go to HNHRoofs.com for more information or call 402-359-2546.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com.
It's On the Block with Rick and Austin.
On a victory Monday. That's right. Happy stuff to talk about today. Nebraska beats Northern Illinois. Final score of 35-11. Welcome to On the Block here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Streaming worldwide on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. My name's Austin Norman. I'm joined by the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA vet, Mr. Eric Strickland. Tricky, good weekend for you?
Yes, sir. It has definitely been a great weekend. I am glad to be in the new location. It's exciting. What a wonderful day it is as well outside, and we're coming in with a victory. So it's all beautiful all the way across the board.
Yes, it is. Beautiful view out O Street as well. Sun shining, birds are chirping. That's how you can tell everything's good in Husker Land. If you have any thoughts on Nebraska football's win over Northern Illinois throughout the show, let us know, 402-464-5685. Or if you're watching on our streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, comment there. We'll see it and we'll get to it. Let's just dive into that, Strick. Nebraska on the board. The first win of the Matt Rule era. The defense dominates early, give up, almost 80 yards in the touchdown late. Hardly puts a damper on, what could have been a 32-point win, turns into a 24-point win. Solid showing from start to finish from Nebraska, I thought.
Yeah, I think across the board, obviously you don't want your quarterback, Iron Harper, running as much as that. But to almost break 100, the century mark in rushing the ball. I mean, good for them. You want to see that in the hands of definitely your running backs a little bit more, taking some of those opportunities. But he did. He used his feet to make sure that the
Mhm.
chains continued to move and to have some success for the Husker offense to keep moving down. And he was solid in the pass game, 14 for 24. I mean, nothing that would blow your mind off, but didn't make any mistakes, couple TDs. So you've got to say, for the nerves, for the first time, just being in the comfort of your home, I think it's good for them. Now, one of the things I would say I'd love to see was Jeff Sims on the sideline really helping and giving some valuable information to Harburg. You see that the relationship
Mhm.
was good there. You want to see that. You don't want to see you want to see the quarterback engaged, because you just never know when they might need to call on you again. And when opportunity, I say, always presents itself, you've got to be ready to take advantage of it. I think Harburg did that this week.
He absolutely did. We'll touch on quarterbacks more because we'll have more thoughts on that throughout the week. That'll be our second segment. Ryan on the Facebook stream, thanks for tuning in. I think sets us up for the next important conversation to have, Strick. He asks, since we haven't seen the fourth string running back yet this year, who's projected to get the backup carries? Let's go back. Gabe Ervin out for the year, dislocated hip. That's a problem. Those things don't just pop back in. You're at a higher risk to dislocate it again once it happens. And Ramir Johnson sounds like his career is going to be over. Dislocated the shoulder in the first half. He was in street clothes for the second half. So you're down RB1 and RB2 on the depth chart. That lifts Anthony Grant up to being the starter, guy that rushed for 900 some yards last year. Your backup running back is a guy you've seen on kickoff return, but not on the field for an offensive snap, in Emmett Johnson out of Minnesota. RB3 right now is Quentin Ives, who's a freshman out of, I believe, New Jersey is where he's from, 6'2", 185. Still learning a lot of the offense. So you have a guy who's had fumbling problems, had a good week of practice, took advantage of his opportunity against Northern Illinois, and then a whole bunch of guys who haven't seen game action. Let's start with Anthony Grant. What an opportunity for him. Probably not how we saw his final season going, but the opportunity's here. He can do something big again.
Yeah, he has the opportunity to do it. I mean, there's nothing like going into a doghouse, coming out, just doing a lot better as you came out of the house. It's like you peeked your head out of the little dog window and oh man, I'm not on the chain. And he had an opportunity to kind of move around the yard a little bit, and that's good. But at the same time, now you're him. You've been there before. You've been that guy. Take the lessons that you've learned and now just really go to a whole nother level, because the reliance is going to be you. The touches can be predominantly you. I mean, it's pretty much all in your hands. Now you've got to expand your game where you probably were okay at, maybe in the passing game. Now you got to step up and really be even more valuable in multiple aspects of the game. Otherwise, you're going to leave room for somebody else to possibly step in and become that void. You want to be the full every down type of guy. You want to be able to handle yourself in pass rush and blitzes and blitz packages. You want to be able to handle those things, and that way you can be the guy that can be the reliable one on the field all the time, or the majority of the time. You say that.
I don't think the run game for the running backs will change a lot. Anthony Grant can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He can run between the tackles. He can bounce it outside, which is his preference. But he's a guy that, has some versatility, some capability in whatever Nebraska is going to ask. Strick, I did like how Nebraska used the running backs as a weapon out of the backfield more against Northern Illinois. Gabe Ervin, again, out for the year with a dislocated hip. 2 catches for 20 yards, mostly on third downs, right? Little check downs, flip it out to him, make someone miss. Anthony Grant, 1 catch for 9 yards. And I think this will tie into 0529's question on the text line. Now that Ervin and Johnson are out for the year, is the quarterback going to have to run more? You'll probably see the same heavy dose of quarterback run, but I don't think it's as essential as some others might, right? You can find other creative ways to give the running backs the ball, whether it's on screens, whether it's, dressing up your standard run game a little bit. Because if you're down 2 running backs, your top 2 running backs, the temptation is going to be to lean into quarterback run. But you got to keep those guys as healthy as you can now, since you're already down 2 of the guys you thought were going to be your top playmakers on offense.
Yeah. But it comes down to this too. How do you feel overall about listen, we see a continued upward trend of and progression of the defense getting
Better and better.
I mean, they were hawking, they were running, they were attacking. You love to see Ushmaker to handle things in the freaking trenches like he was been doing. Those are all things that are positive. The defense ranking now is what? They got to be in the top 25, easy.
They're
top
number
15,
2 in rush yards per game.
No question. They got to be up there. The passing yards was, I think, approaching almost 300. I think it was like 296 up to today, which is going to go down. But what you want to see on the offense, you want to see the rush numbers the way that they are. You want to see stability in the pass. I think you want to see them get to at least a couple hundred yards in the passing game. I mean, 158 something yards is that's not going to get you there, especially in a really tough Big Ten, especially even in the West. You got to love the running numbers, but is that sustainable? I don't know. So that's the part that I'm going to be watching over the next few weeks in the approach to Michigan, and what type of wrinkles they're going to be able to continue to implement to stave off just the Michigan Wolverines pinning their ears back and just downhill in every way.
Jack on YouTube, thanks for tuning in to the stream as well. Will there be more fullback play with the running back injuries? I don't know, Strick. I still don't think Nebraska's been all that good out of the I formation. I was excited about Janarin Bonner and what he might be able to do for this team. Haven't seen a lot from him. It's been a lot of Barrett Liebentritt, especially in those run packages. Nebraska's got to get creative, though, right? If you were that high on Janarin Bonner and moving him to fullback, find a way to use him. Find a way to get him out there. You will have to surprise someone with a fullback carry here or there, but I still think for Nebraska, the best way to run the ball is with a couple tight ends on the field. Get Borkacher and Fredoni out there. Get one of your tight ends and a sixth lineman like we saw Teddy Prohaska do a couple times. That, to me, has been the secret sauce for Nebraska more than the fullback.
Yeah, I love what they've been running with their counters. Like, you show the ball one way, counter back the other way, get in between those tackles, maybe pull a guard, punch out, and let room just open up. Now, I think Anthony Grant had a tendency to do a lot of bouncing last year, which I didn't really like for him. I like him to be able to get up. But what I saw from him, though, was he got into one of those holes, into those gaps between the tight end and the tackle, had a sweet jump cut, and then got back upfield quickly. That's the type of running I want to see out of Anthony Grant, being able to hit the hole, make one jump cut, maybe make a miss, and then get into the second level and hopefully be able to make something happen. I like that they even showed an option. I like that. I mean, if you say that there's some similarities between Harburg and Sims, being that they're both big, good stature, physical, and have some okay foot. I think Sims's feet is a little bit better than Harburg's, but still,
we'll get to that too.
But I still want to see. I love the use this week of Fedoni. I love the tight end work. We just got to continue to get better on the outside. Where is that explosiveness going to come from? I'm still open in my mind to hoping to see it.
Anthony Grant, too, you mentioned his propensity, his looking to bounce everything outside. To me, that's not an issue if he's not physical enough. He doesn't have the right mindset. When you go back to Rutgers, he catches that swing pass and he trucks the dude on their sideline. Even this game, ran a guy over and let him know about it. He was staring him down as soon as he got up. So to me, it's not a mentality. It's not a body shape thing for Anthony Grant. For him, I think it's be consistent, right? You like the home run ability, but sometimes you just got to know when to get 4 yards and not turn 4 yards into 2 yards.
Yeah, this team has got to be that. It's got to be short chains for the effectiveness of the team. They don't have the ability, consistently. Not that they can't. I don't think they have the ability to be 3rd and 8.
Nope.
I'm not so excited about how the line is. I still think the line has some areas of deficiency there with their footwork and just being able to not allow straight lines. I think the blocking down and allowing short tracks to the backfield, whether it be to the quarterback or the running back, there's got to be some chip before you get up and get to the linebackers.
We saw more of that in the second half.
So I want to see more of that continuously. And this is the part, I mean, this group has been together now outside of Ben Scott, for the most part. A lot of these guys have been there together. They've got to figure out in these next 2 weeks how to become a little bit more towards the dominant. I'm not going to say they're going to be dominant, but come a little bit more to the dominant end. They've got to be 4 yards minimum if they're going to set up and run between tackles, run inside, or run off tackles on stretch plays. They're going to have to be 4 yards. It can't be tackles for losses and not being able to move, because otherwise they're going to get themselves into trouble.
I think Nebraska has to trust the offensive line and trust the running backs to some degree, right? It might not work in the first quarter, might not work in the second quarter, but you saw Nebraska run for almost 100 yards in the fourth quarter, really trying to put that game away, leaning on the offensive line. That's what it's going to come down to, right? That commitment. Marcus Satterfield has to know what his offense's relative strengths are and what its weaknesses are. You'll have to take some calculated gambles. You'll have to take some calculated risks, but you can't get cute, right? There's a very fine line there, and some of it is, judged based on how it goes. It's based on results, but just have good process, right? Call the right play in the right time. Trust your players to go out there and make plays. And if you're the players, ball's in your court now, right? You're out your top running back. You're out your second string running back. If you're a wide receiver, you put in extra work, right? Because now might be my time. If you're a tight end, you work on finding that soft spot in the middle of the zone. I'm glad you brought up Fedoni. 2 straight weeks with a touchdown catch. He shushes the crowd at home after he scores this touchdown. What do you make of what we've seen from Thomas Fedoni so far this year?
I think he's just starting to get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident. I think they're trying to figure out ways to use him and to let the tight ends be a little bit more effective. And they're going to have to. I mean, I think they're going to have to do that with with a running game, with finding those tight ends, with some delays, with creativity, and just creating not only just mismatch situations, but also to be able to use misdirection in ways. So everything's flowing. This is why I think some rollout situations with Harburg or with Sims or whatever, with some throwbacks, just getting the eyes of the defense going one way, they're shifting, and then sneaking tight ends out backsides on backsides out, drag ups, something to be able to get them lost with some misdirection to help them out as well for big plays, because they're going to have to make some big plays. They can't just continuously rely on that. I love the defense providing them opportunities to be able to put them in scoring situations as opposed to having to go long. But they, I'm excited to see what next week is going to be, how they can build off of what they did this week.
You mentioned that defense. The biggest drive to me was the one after Nebraska scores the touchdown. They get a stop. Offense gets it backed up towards its own end zone. Then the fumble from Heinrich Harburg. Benhart got beat, took a step inside, couldn't recover back out. That was the Nash Hutmacher drive. 2 big plays there, forces them, the Huskies, back to a longer field goal. They do end up making it, but to keep 3 on the board instead of 7, that was big. And then strict the complimentary football. Nebraska drives to midfield, stalls out. Buschini punts down to the 1. Nebraska holds early. You get a 3 and out, a rushed punt, short field, boom, another touchdown.
There it is. That's the recipe. That's what I'm saying about this team. They have to allow, this is why they can't get behind the chains. They have to allow the defense enough time to rest, regather their thoughts, and to be refreshed when they return back to the field. Whether it's 2 first downs or 3 or changing a field position, this defense has been strong in not allowing super big plays. I mean, the big plays do happen. Sometimes guys just make great catches,
right?
But not allowing that and making teams work and not allowing the other teams to get low on the chains. So that way, then they're having easier opportunities with a wider playbook to work off of. And that's what I like about what they're doing. Defense. I mean, listen, shout out to White. I love what he's doing with the defense. I love what he's doing. Now, we need the offense to be able to just do their part. And that's just moving the chains and switching fields and allow the defense to do their work and give you an opportunity.
Absolutely. He's Strick. I'm Austin. We'll touch on the quarterback. I think that's important. We got some conversations to have. We'll definitely carry that into hour 2. You mentioned the offense doing its part. What does that mean? What does it look like? Is there a target number of points per game, yards per game, something that you're looking at? Let us know. 402-464-5685 on the text line. You can be like Ryan on Facebook, Jack and Jim on YouTube, as well as Nuance, capital N, capital U, Nebraska U, Nuance. I really like that. Thank you guys for tuning in on the stream. We'll step aside for just a moment. When we get back, we'll dive into Heinrich Harburg. We'll talk about Jeff Sims' injury being listed now as or on the depth chart. What does it mean? Where does Nebraska go from here? You're listening to On the Block and 93.7 The Ticket.
Holmes has really expanded and taken off in the last.
Floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of foggy dishes and dingy clothes, Bryant can help. Whatever your home water needs are, Bryant is here with a solution to fit your needs. Be sure about your water. Just call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickle, and this is 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Really appreciate all of you tuning in on the stream here today. Royals are on the app for now. We're working to get that resolved. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, you're listening to Strick and I. Let's dive into the quarterback, Strick. Heinrich Harbert gets his first career start, first in-state player to start for the Huskers at quarterback since Eric Crouch, all the way back in 2001. It had been a while. Scholarship, I guess. I mean, Riker 5 played for Nebraska against Purdue. Regardless, even that, it's been a while. His performance, I thought, was very Big Ten West-esque.
Yeah.
Right? 14 of 24 for 158 yards. Not a whole lot of easy throws that he was given. The touchdown to Fedoni was more a mistake on Northern Illinois' part, I think, than anything special he did. But 21 carries for 98 yards when you factor in sacks as well. The one turnover that a little bit of awareness might have gone a long way, but he didn't have much time, right? He had just gotten the snap to go through his first, maybe second read by the time he got hit. I would give him a solid B performance.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say B to B minus. Like I said, I'm taking a look at Northern Illinois. I'm looking at what we kind of expected them to be. Defenses was okay. Lombardi,
bad.
Yeah, right.
I'm just gonna say he was bad.
they were going to have to rely on the run, and then the run doesn't get going. The defense did a tremendous job of gapping and getting downhill and running to the ball with multiple guys and putting, getting what I mean by this is like they're hitting holes, but they're getting that little bump that stops their momentum. They didn't ever have, like, to me, like this just free run as they got the ball. There was always something that caused them to have to change direction, have to try to do something else, got bumped, lose their momentum, and then boom, the extra guys were coming in to seal it up. And that's what's good about it. Nebraska, this is a lot different than the Nebraska defenses we've seen in the past, where we've seen a lot of missed tackles. We've seen a lot of one-on-one opportunities as far as making plays. But you're seeing a little bit more gang activity, not on the negative sense. I'm just saying as far as the players coming together and guys are coming and making plays together as a unit.
Absolutely. The complementary football that we talk so much about was there against Northern Illinois, who, honestly, Strick, I was less than impressed with them. I thought they were going to put up a little bit better of a fight. Maybe they were still down from last week against Southern Illinois. Maybe Boston College is really that bad. And Northern Illinois would have had more time to prepare, all offseason for Boston College. I don't think that was an opponent that was very good, but at least Nebraska proved it was capable, right? Stopping the run has been a constant theme, even against Power 5 teams. 3 more sacks, which is huge for a defensive line that's gotten pressure. Cam Lenhart also banged up. It sounds like he's going to be okay moving forward. That, to me, is the style of game that Nebraska is going to have to win. I don't think they score 35 points every week. And this is where I want to ask you, too.
Yeah.
The offense doing enough. What matters to me, Strick, is that the offense scored in all 4 quarters. You got a touchdown in the first, touchdown in the second, touchdown in the third, and then 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. 20 points isn't a good offensive output. Heck, even I was shooting for 25. But if you're Nebraska and you can put points on the board every quarter, you're going to win some games in that 20 to 27 range. And anything above that to me is gravy.
Well, this is the toss-up aspect of if you look and go up and down their schedule, right? As you're looking at it, it's going to be that I think that is the number, that 30 to 35 range. If your defense, because that means you're moving.
Yes.
That means you're not stagnant. If you can get up there and get into that range, there's some movement which allows your defense to be able to stay and become and remain who they've shown themselves to be up through the first 3 games. These next few games is going to be huge in that aspect of making sure that they can get to those numbers. I don't think they can get there against Michigan. Maybe they do. I hope they do. But I think there's possibilities with Illinois. Illinois is going to look very much like Minnesota in a lot of ways as far as their attack on the offensive side of things. Northwestern looks terrible, but you still haven't beaten them. So I'm not I'm not saying nothing. I ain't throwing no bad mojo out. I'm just saying you haven't beat them.
Not till week 7.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to come and play that game. Purdue is another one of those that you should have beaten and you end up coming up short, right? Looking very Denver-esque with the way those situations with Purdue have happened over the years. Michigan State, a lot of turmoil going on. But here's the thing. If you don't get to that number, you're going to give yourself, make it really tough because teams like Maryland, I think a team like Illinois has capabilities if you don't move the ball. I'm not going to say Northwestern. I think that would be a knockdown drag out, especially with the defense. But I think Wisconsin and Iowa, you got to get up there. You got to get up there.
Find a way to get up there.
You got to find a way to get up into that 30 range. And if you don't, then you're probably going to end up, like you said, on the end of a toss, a flip of the coin as to whether you're going to win that game or not.
And those coins haven't come up Nebraska's way very often recently at all. So it kind of scares you.
Yeah.
Strick, I've been saying this for a couple weeks now, and I'm going to keep saying it until I feel like the listenership clearly understands my point. This comes from Jim on the YouTube stream. Those high-powered offenses rely on getting off as many plays as they can. Minimizing their possessions really helps to shut them down. I'm gonna lead with no, Jim. I think that's the conventional logic, but this is where for Nebraska, not a big play offense. It's about being efficient, not explosive. Right? You mentioned those high-powered offenses. Yeah, they run a lot more plays, but they also hit on a lot more big plays, right? Some of their scoring drives are 3, 4, 5 plays, and they cover the length of the field, right? They have that explosive element that we haven't seen out of Nebraska. So you're not just going to run the ball for the sake of running the ball. It's not just run the ball to play keep away from those offenses, because offenses like even Michigan's, Ohio State's not on the schedule, but an offense like that, Maryland, I'll even throw in that conversation, right? They don't need 7, 8, 9, 10 plays to score. They just don't. Time of possession matters less to elite offenses that can score from anywhere on the field. If you're Nebraska, in your strategy, which I think is a wise one moving forward, is to play it safe, right? Not many passes more than 10, 12 yards down the field. Creative, if uninspiring, run game, just do the basics well, time after time again. If that's your game plan, you're not going to be explosive.
No.
You don't have that element. But you have to be efficient. You have to score on a high possession of your drives, and you can't give possessions away. You can't have 4 turnovers. You can't have, even 2 turnovers in some cases, right? You have to maximize your possession. It's not just because you want to play keep away. That's a tertiary benefit at best. If you're going to play the style Nebraska is going to, you have to be efficient.
And again, it's shaping up to be this way, y'all. Those who are listening on the stream, those who are listening wherever you're listening from, it has to be that, because it's shaping up to become bend but don't break, field position driven, move the chains, move and make sure you're on the positive side of the field position battle. That means Bushini's got to make sure that there's no shanking.
Right.
There's no 9 hours in 9 irons into the woods. They need to be on the green. That's what he's talking about efficient. Drive, don't have to be long, just have to be in the fairway.
Right.
Second shot to the green. Don't have to be a dime to be able to tap in birdie, but just give me a chance to make the putt. Right? That's what they've got to do in these next games. They've got to be that way. And that's where the efficiency kicks in. Can't have dumb plays, dumb fumbles, dumb mistakes. And you're seeing the defense is not having a lot of broken issues in their coverages or where they're supposed to be. They seem to be very disciplined on handling themselves in that area. And so once they iron out a few things on the offense, move the ball, give rest. I'm even saying run clock under 10 seconds. I don't care. Sure. I don't care. Run clock under 10 seconds, run plays. We don't need to be a hurry up offense until we're actually behind, because I don't think we're explosive enough to be able to let time continue to just start ticking once we get behind.
Strick, since we're on stream, we're just going to keep this rolling. Talking about the offense, what the plan is moving forward. The game plan seemed conservative. It seemed in place to protect Heinrich Haarberg's arm and decision-making in a lot of ways, even though a lot was asked of him running the ball. There will be a quarterback competition when Jeff Sims is back and healthy. I think that's only fair at this point. But I still think Jeff Sims is the guy when he's healthy moving forward. That being said, a game plan like this could do wonders for Jeff Sims. Cut the field in half, move him out a lot, no more than 5 to 10 straight drop back passes. Give him those easy options out in the flat for him to take care of. I get it. Jeff Sims has all the physical ability in the world, big arm, can run, physical enough. Heinrich Haarberg's a very similar size, very similar athlete in a lot of ways. My hope is that Marcus Satterfield learns something from this game plan so that when Jeff Sims comes back, not much has to change. Yeah, man. You said it. That's the way that you're going to have to make this this ball roll. I don't know if I feel the same way about you right now at this point. I think you got to go with the guy until the guy he can't go anymore. And I mean Haarberg. I think you roll. I hear what you're saying. I think you're absolutely right. They have the abilities of. I'm just saying at this point, it's like this, y'all. Check this out, Austin. Hit me.
There was nothing worse than when my father would say to me, "You can't play because your grades aren't in order," or "You can't play because your behavior is out of order." Right? That's nothing that hurt me worse. It's the same thing with Chris Jones, right? Chris Jones sitting on the sideline knowing that that can kind of spur you to kind of get a little bit active, to want to get back into the game. I think something like this, allowing Haarberg to continue to run down and handle business until he can't handle it no more, until the business just gets too big for him, right? Let him continue to roll. And then that can let a guy sit over there, not be pouty and fester, but start to work on being better.
Light a fire.
There's nothing more that can light a fire on somebody than just sitting there knowing that you really are better, but you just can't get to the field because somebody else, and it's not anybody else's fault, but whose?
Your own.
And that thing gives charge to people. I mean, I'm not saying anybody has to be like me, but there's nothing better that charged me than knowing that somebody's in my space, in my spot, that I should be there. And it's only because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. If I'm not covering Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan goes for 40, then I can understand somebody else coming in because I ain't doing my freaking job, even though he probably could do that on anybody. But that's the case I'm saying. You know what I mean?
If I'm Jeff Sims and I'm watching this game back, I'm telling myself there's nothing Heinrich Haarberg did that I can't do. So how do I make sure I get it done?
My man. That's what I'm saying. And that festers, that it doesn't eat it. The competitor, the ultimate competitor, it doesn't eat away at you. It inspires you and invigorates you to want to do better. And I saw this last year with some of the running backs. When guys like Gabe Ervin weren't getting looks, and Grant and those guys were boy, when Irvin got a chance, a couple of carries, you saw how he ran differently into them holes.
Yep.
And that's what I'm talking about. It inspires somebody to want to do more.
It does. Mr. Raj48 on the YouTube stream, text line as well, open for you, 402-464-5685, says he saw a clear difference in decision-making between Harburg and Sims, as well as how the decision spread to the rest of the offense and gave them confidence. This streak is where I don't want to give Heinrich Harburg that A+ grade. He missed some layups. There were some receivers open available to him that he didn't take. Should have probably thrown an interception. The one to Fedoni over the middle, hit a set of hands on the defense. Not a good decision, but it's almost more excusable because it's his first start, his first live game reps, whereas Jeff Sims was the starter at Georgia Tech. So it's on Heinrich Harburg now to, with this week of film, not make those same mistakes, right? How can I clean them up? Can I get us 4 yards instead of going for the home run ball? Can I go through my reads any faster now that the first one's out of the way? And you played fine, but I don't necessarily think it's a slam dunk. Oh yeah, Harburg automatically, just made better decisions than Sims. Yeah. I don't think they hurt Nebraska like Jeff Sims's did necessarily, but there's still plays out there to be made. What scares me, the throwing mechanics for Heinrich Harburg. His feet were all over the place. The ball was low. Even the touchdown to Billy Kemp, thrown sidearm. You've been sitting behind the scenes for a couple years now. And even back in high school, like maybe you could get away with it. But if you're a coach and you're looking out for your kid who's going to play quarterback at the next level, I would hope the mechanics are further along than they look like they were on Saturday.
Yeah, you're not an elite quarterback. You're not Quinn Ewers. You're not who else out there that's
Frank May, Caleb Williams.
You're not a Penix.
Sam Hartman,
you're not any
Michael
of those
Penix.
type of guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to be mechanically sound. If you're mechanically sound, balls are not going to air. They're not going to get away from you, which an aired ball is a touch pass that ends up going a little bit too farther into safety range, and now that's an interception. You know what I mean? A timing ball is Fedoni on an out, and you have safeties inside out. That ball should have been released on break. That ball is too late if Fedoni has already turned his head.
You can already see his numbers.
If you're too late. So that's a no throw zone, right? Those types of situations, if you're not mechanically sound, there's not a zip on it. There's not power to it. It's not accurate to the outside. Instead, it's to the inside. Pick range for 6. Those are the things that become problems for you if you're not mechanically sound. Then you still got to rely on an offensive line that's still kind of
suspect.
Right? Suspect. So that means mechanically sound balls is you see it, you sidestep, boom, and it's out with good mechanics. If you're trying to sidearm and do all of that stuff, then balls come out funny. They don't get to where they're supposed to, and you're putting yourself at risk.
And the blame goes on the receiver for not catching a ball with weird spin, even though he's not used to a ball coming off with that spin. Heinrich Harburg was good enough for Nebraska to beat Northern Illinois. That's a feather in his cap. He led the team to a win. He looked better than I thought he would have in doing it. Do it again against Louisiana Tech. Take a step forward.
Better. Yeah.
Michigan is going to be a tough task. Yeah. Okay. I don't know who's going to be starting by that point. Illinois, I think, is a game that's on the table for Nebraska. Northwestern coming out of the bye week. Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland. That coin's going up in the air.
Yeah.
Right? You were good enough for Northern Illinois. My worry is a performance like this with the same decisions might not be good enough in Big Ten play. But what you can fall back on is it was start number 1. There's plenty we saw from Heinrich Harburg for him to build off of in whatever opportunity remains for him.
My man.
Nebraska's not the only place with quarterback questions, though. Bama went through them all in their win against South Florida. Let's take a look at the college football weekend that was before we get to Brian Munson in about 15 minutes. He's Eric Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. You're listening to On the Block right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Our Remington Homes has really expanded and taken off in the last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. You can select your options. We give you a lot of choices. By selecting certain floor plans, they're just easier to build. And you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of foggy dishes and dingy clothes, Bryant can help. Whatever your home water needs are, Bryant is here with a solution to fit your needs. Be sure about your water. Just call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back to it. On the Block, I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Brought to you proudly by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Okay, 27th and Pine Lake. That's where they're at right now. We don't know the schedule for sure, but rumor has it, Mary Ellen's will be at our new downtown location, 1040 O Street, serving up meals sometime in the near future. So if you're on the north side of town, if you work downtown, you can't sneak away, stay tuned to the restaurant schedule here at 93.7 The Ticket. Mary Ellen's coming here soon.
Woo! I almost fainted when you said that, boy. Thinking about Mary Ellen's coming in the building. Southern sweet heat. It don't matter if it's the doggone ribs. It doesn't matter if it's the meatloaf. It doesn't matter, but the yams. Ooh. Yeah. If Mary Ellen shows up in the building, that's one of my cheat days. I will be in the gym early that morning to make sure I'm well prepared for what I'm about to put in my belly. And it's going to be like, fat bastard, get in my belly. I love Mary Ellen. Shout out to you guys. Love you guys, man. We look forward to having you down here at the new location.
Do we ever? 402-464-5685, the number to the starter Heyman text line. And you're also watching on stream right now, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We're carrying you through while the Royals and the Guardians play. Diving into some college football headlines here, Strick. We talked a lot about Nebraska in hour one. If you have any thoughts, let us know again on the text line. Or any games that stood out to you nationally. Strick, let's start down actually in Tampa, not even in Tuscaloosa. Alabama went on the road to play South Florida. It was gross. A game that got postponed or paused in the middle due to a weather delay. Bama cycled through its quarterback. Jalen Milroe didn't play that well against Texas. You see Tyler Buchner and Ty Simpson against South Florida. A 17-3 win for Bama. But today, Nick Saban comes out and says, yep, Jalen Milroe is our starter. Nebraska has quarterback questions. Alabama's might be worse given their goals.
So the thing about Alabama is this. You look at this whole situation. First of all, this is a mismanaged situation. You look at the hiring of Tommy Rees. You understand that this team has to be able to change and make the adjustments needed at the quarterback position. When you look down the board, and you see Mac Jones, you see Bryce Young, you see Tua, and you see Jalen Hurts, and then all of a sudden you come up, you're at the well trying to go down and dig up some water, and you end up coming up with some dry dirt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what it's got to feel like for them. And the crazy thing about this is one of the situations that you just don't see at Alabama, and that's where the questions begin to come in. You wasn't able to secure him. Tyler Buchner? Like, did you see how he played at Notre Dame? So then you're looking at this whole situation trying to say they're better off with this type of lineup at the quarterback position? Funny.
Not good. Bama does win. They bounce back from the loss to Texas with a 17-3 win. Michigan handles Bowling Green. Florida State found itself up 31-16 on Boston College heading into the fourth quarter. BC made game of it, Strick. BC had a shot to tie that game.
Yeah. They
end up falling short. Florida State wins. Wasn't pretty at the end, but they survived in advance.
And this is the team, the same Boston College team that lost.
Tricked it off to Northern Illinois.
That's what's scary about football, because here's the other part of it. Freaking South Carolina.
Georgia on the ropes there for a minute.
For a little while. First half.
14-3 at half.
First half, they were giving them that work. So when you look around the college landscape, this is the question I will have for you. Are you seeing more parity? Is the transfer portal starting to kind of stretch things out, make things a little bit even? Because what happens is some of these top tier talent ends up jumping into the transfer portal, can't go across, they maybe don't have enough tape. There's maybe not enough information. The stars don't matter after you get on campus now.
Right.
Yeah, you were. Maybe they'll take a chance on you. But what ends up happening sometimes is some of these guys end up going down. They go down into a Western Kentucky. They go down into a Bowling Green. They go down into some of these other programs, and they can make them a little bit better. So are we starting to see a little bit more parity out here, or is it just early in the season and the teams just aren't at full strength of what they could be once it gets later in the season?
I can't tell you who the best quarterback in the top 5 is. It's probably Jordan Travis right now, but even he, wasn't great in the first half against LSU, made some risky decisions that he got away with. Carson Beck hasn't lived up to any of his hype at Georgia. JJ McCarthy is solid. I don't know if he's a game breaker necessarily.
Struggled 3 interceptions this week.
Right. Ewers, fine. He's good, not great, I would say. Ohio State named McCord the starter. He doesn't scare me. It's everyone around him. Aller at Penn State, I like him, but he's young. The best quarterback in the top 10 is probably Michael Penix, who lit Michigan State up.
Right. Now, here's the crazy thing about this. Here's the crazy thing about this, and this is what I want to throw out, because this could sound real crazy to some of you guys that are listening right now. Is this the year of the Pac-12?
We're getting there. It's tricky.
Is this the year of the Pac-12? Is this the year that the Pac-12 finds itself like doing some big things and they're about to break up? Like it's like you left your girlfriend and she was still the best thing, and you went out there and thought it was something better on the other side, and you end up being the best girl that you've ever had. At the end of the day, when you sit and look at it, you're like, wait, man, I maybe shouldn't have left. Maybe I should have stayed where I was at, because Washington looks good. Oregon looks okay. Washington's solid. Utah's dangerous. USC. And you still can't write off UCLA. So I don't know, man. Something to think about.
Something's happening out there out west. The last revenge of some sort. So
what if
something's crazy happening?
I don't think they get 2 in, but I think they definitely could. This could be a year where they get one in. I mean, they've been kind of locked out as of late, but this could be a year where they sneak one in.
Utah was the dark horse pick, but Cam Rising hasn't done anything yet. He's still, working his way back from injury. USC, I think, is the obvious choice. We'll see if the defense steps up in conference play. Am I crazy to put Oregon ahead of both those teams, though? I think Oregon does enough defensively, and they've missed some easy opportunities on offense.
The crazy thing about Oregon is this is one of the years that you're not hearing about them.
Right.
As you have in the past. Normally, Oregon's, you're always up in the top. You're always talking about them. What are they going to do? And then they disappoint you somehow, some way, right? They're not being really talked about. No one's really even mentioning them. They're just kind of riding under the radar out there out west, playing later games, not really on the main screen like they normally would be. Dangerous. They sneak up on you and end up, popping you late in the season. So this is something to watch out for, man. I think watch out for the Pac-12 this year.
And the 2 redheaded stepchildren that are the Pac-12 right now, Oregon State and Washington State, both get big wins. Oregon State beats San Diego State. Washington State wins going away in their game. A little closer to home, number 15, Kansas State goes down 30-27 on the road at Missouri, a 61-yarder.
Wow.
That's longer than a 60-yard dash that you would time. The dude kicked it from beyond midfield. That's where he lined up.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you just can tip your cap, and then you have to say, you know what, should we even been at this point?
Right. We had 59 and a half other minutes.
Did we have a letdown there where we even put ourselves in a position to take this L? This I think this dashes the hope for them. But look, shout out to Missouri.
Yeah.
Shout out to Missouri, the SEC. They're off to a 3-0 start. I mean, how long has it been? They've usually been in that 1 and 2 win type area for quite a while. They've been the SEC stepchild, like you said, being kicked on, stepped on, beat on. And now they're off to a great start. Hey, there's nothing better than having a confidence builder, especially winning a top 25 game at home. Great crowd. It could set some things off in motion.
Ole Miss also in the SEC rolls. Oklahoma soon to be in the SEC rolls over Tulsa. North Carolina, no issues with Minnesota. Duke curb stomps Northwestern, a game that wasn't as close as the 24-point final score indicates. Iowa puts up 41. Brian Ferentz is back on track thanks to a late touchdown to push Iowa up to 41.
Yeah, right.
But early on, Stricky, Western Michigan was up. It was
That's what I'm
10-7 in that one. They struggled, really turned it on in the second half.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on Iowa. I think they're still, the bumbling,
rumbling, bumbling,
stumbling sister of Nebraska to the to the east. And but no, listen, their defense is still great. That's where they still hang their hat. Their defense is going to continue to give them opportunities. They have some talented players, but I'm still not sold that offense, when it really requires them, can get it done. I could be wrong. They could get better as the season goes, but they still look like the same Iowa Hawkeyes team to me.
Iowa to the east. Let's move to the mostly west and slightly south. Colorado and Colorado State. 15 penalties, 170 yards for Colorado State, who has Colorado on the ropes. They're up 11. They give up a field goal. They give up the touchdown and 2-point conversion. A lot of questionable decisions, obviously, with the penalties. But Colorado State had a chance to go for it on 4th and 3. They decide to punt. Colorado drives 98 yards down the field. Then in overtime, Colorado State scores, kicks the extra point, doesn't go for 2, gives Colorado another possession. Colorado gets it, goes for 2. Interception by the Rams in that second overtime. Was this Colorado State, shooting itself in the foot enough and Colorado taking advantage? Or was this some resolve and some grit by Colorado to find a way to win that rivalry matchup?
I've got to say, let me just say it like this. I think it's multi-pronged. It's not a one-off to an answer to this question. I think it's multi-pronged. When you're a young team, as Colorado is, you can appreciate rivalry games being what they are. They're challenging you. It doesn't matter what the records are in rivalry games. There's going to be some intensity, and in most cases, you're going to bump heads, and it's going to come down to resilience and who wants it more or who makes more plays.
Who handles the moment better.
Right, who handles the moment better. So for me, a team like Colorado, a young team, they don't have all the answers. I would say better to clip them now, because it's not going to get easier. It's going to get tougher, because they're probably going to get more people to fill in some of these areas of deficiencies. But Colorado State played well. I've got to tip my hat to them. They played a phenomenal game. They had a phenomenal game plan. They executed. And listen, their quarterback, Braden Fowler, Nicolosi, played phenomenal.
Balled out.
Outdueled Shador, balled out. Other than the mistakes he made with the 3 interceptions, he still played phenomenal. Gave them a great chance to win that game. Now, as a player, you've got to say this. When you have troubles, you have adversity, and your team can overcome it the way that they overcame it, having to drive what they had to drive, having to make plays when they had to make plays, and you end up winning the game. Those are lesson builders that you can't simulate in practice.
No.
You know what I mean? Those are things that build your confidence in ways that you never could get in any other circumstances than in this, and no better way to do it than in a rivalry game. So I love that both of those teams showed up and showed out, played their butts off. As one of the better games to watch over the weekend.
Kept people up late. They're up till darn near 2:00 out on the East Coast, about 1:00 here in the Central Time Zone. That's a good look around college football. We're going to step aside. When we get back, we'll have Brian Munson of Husker Online on the horn with us. Big recruiting weekend. First home game, had a lot of official visitors in, including Brandon Baker. We'll get an update on that, and we'll talk some more Husker.
Can we steal him from out west?
We're working on it, Ricky.
Darn it.
We're working on it.
Let's get it.
Let's talk to Brian. He'll give us the answer when we get back here to On the Block.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, souvenir Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal. I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at our back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 14th through 19th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
America's been around since 1776. That's nothing. America's still just learning how to party. The Irish? The Irish have been doing it for thousands of years. Party the Irish way at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket. They've got your favorite Irish beers on tap, along with all the locals and domestics. Plus great house cocktails, a huge selection of Irish whiskey, and the best Irish pub food in town. See the full menu and list of specials online at mckinneyspub.com or just head down there. McKinney's Irish Pub at 7th and P in the Haymarket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Strick and Austin back with you here on the block at 93.7 The Ticket, as well as theticketfm.com. We are going to go to our Allo VIP line and welcome in our Husker online recruiting expert, Mr. Brian Munson. Brian, Nebraska gets a win. That's a positive, but they're back home. There are a lot of official visitors in town, 70 of them. Is that right? Huge number?
70, one official visitor, about 68, I'm trying to go back. I knew there was about 75 coming in. I've been able to kind of, like, Connor Booth fell out. There were two other guys that fell out. It's still probably right around 70, one official visitor and about 70 plus unofficial visitors.
That's insane. I saw you had a piece up hearing from some of the guys that are committed about their time at Nebraska. Maybe give people an overview of that piece, some of the more interesting comments that you heard.
Yeah, I think what was really kind of interesting out of that was that if they were there for the first time, like Gibson Pyle, that was his first game. Jake Peters, that was his first game. Or if you're a Daniel Kalin, if you're an Ashton Murphy, all those guys who have been to games before in the past, there was something special about this weekend. And I think that there were so many intriguing, like, storylines to kind of go through it with them all. Like, the first home game of the season, Matt Rule's first home game, looking for that first win of the season, new starting quarterback, it's a night game in Nebraska, etc. So I know that a lot of those guys were pretty, keyed in on some of that stuff. But, all of them, it looks repetitive, like their comments to me, because it was like, it was electric. Like, that was the most common theme thing. But, like, I think there were some pretty other, like, telling comments that were kind of made in there. And I think it's a really kind of useful piece to kind of go through and check it a lot. Like Caden Vermas, he's such a well thought out guy and has such great ways of kind of describing things anyway. But he had some really telling things to kind of go back and say about, like, what he thought about it. I think, and that really kind of inspired me to kind of write my next article on Wednesday about, like, you're going through this period of time where you had these kids that were class of 2021, class of 2022, and they never got a chance to visit Nebraska because of COVID. And then all of a sudden, when you get out of COVID, the NCAA slides the timetable to the left, and they start saying, well, look, you can start taking official visits in June. And a lot of those guys then are committing in July. What does that mean? They never saw a game in Nebraska. Like, for 2 years, there are basically two classes that never saw a game in Nebraska. And the difficulty that you now have is that you now are switching over from, head coach to head coach. If there wasn't, like, an established relationship before, really hard to kind of get that in front of the 2023 and 2024 guys. But with the 25 and 26s, you've got to get them there to Lincoln, because you need to use this now as the home field kind of environment. The home game atmosphere needs to be the centerpiece of your relationship. It needs to be like, what is going to get those guys back outside of, like, the coaching staff and, being successful and playing Division I football. The home game visit has to be the centerpiece of that relationship. And it's going to take a little bit of time, I think. But from all the that's why it was so important not just to catch up with the 24s and the 25s, not just the commitments, but the uncommitted. In fact, I'm catching up with a bunch of non-committed kids. And actually, there was at least one new offer extended this weekend, too. So really good weekend overall. One last thing. Pre-game was always actually game day visits were a little bit different under Scott Frost. You sometimes didn't get access to the coaches. They were sometimes just, like, so busy to where you could not catch up with them. I had to make sure that I was asking those questions the right way, but everybody seems to have caught up with the coaches. And I think that was a missed opportunity back in the day.
Matt Rule and his staff aren't doing that this time.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought up just how important the game day environment, getting players to campus for a home game is for the coaches. On the player side, is it that important to get to a home game, to feel that energy, be in that home stadium, or is it more of the behind the scenes legwork, the checking in from coaches, the high school, visits with coaches, stuff like that leaves more of an impression?
Ooh, man, that's a toughie. I think that the game day visit, particularly for like the non-committed guys, even the guys that don't even have an offer, I think it's a sign of like better things to come. It's got this promise element to it, and showing that you're on the right track. Like I just got off the phone with Braden Wilmus. He's a sophomore offensive tackle, same high school as Turner Corcoran. And Nebraska is the first school he ever talked to. He didn't talk to Nebraska until Tuesday, in fact. And then all of a sudden it was a game day visit and they took him up on the offer. So I think to him, knowing that, the fruits of his labor, getting his first chances to kind of like play varsity football, having a good sophomore season so far through his first 3 games, it's all kind of validation. And I think that the legwork that you referenced there about the contact, the emails, the calling the coaches, texting and calling the kid, recruiting the parents as well as the player, etc. I think that that's really what gets the kid in the class. But I think to get them to look at Nebraska, this is what you have to do. If you don't have these game day visits here, I think that you're going to miss out on more guys because they don't know what Nebraska has to offer versus Nebraska doing the best job recruiting them. Because I've heard that from like the Brandon Bakers, and the Aiden Brelands. Nebraska was recruiting them best. But Nebraska's running, whatever for Brandon Baker and didn't make Aiden Breland's top 5. So it was really important to get those guys on campus and then follow it up and continue the process.
We'll touch on Brandon Baker in a sec. Huge name. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the coaches were available, right? The players got to catch up with them. Have you noticed any other differences, through one game, anything planned for Louisiana Tech that stands out as a difference between the previous staff and this one in recruiting at home?
There was a little bit more behind the scenes activity. I mean, talking to Caden Vermoss, they had lunch. They had this it was like a kind of a recruiting event. It was kind of a recruiting weekend. Having gone through it a little bit with my kid, it seemed very similar to some other schools like that we went to. But then in having, visited Nebraska before, we didn't do anything like that. It was just kind of come in, get your ticket, here's your lanyard, here's a little bit of a come in here, hear this spiel, and then head on out for the game. Now it sounds like there's a little bit more activity, a little bit more of some arranged kind of things for people to kind of experience, people to kind of meet each other, a meet and greet, talk to some people, make sure you don't leave there without talking to somebody other than just getting your ticket and going to the game. And I think that that's really important. There's a personal feel with this staff that I don't think can be understated. They are, or shouldn't be understated, I guess I should say. They are everywhere, and they are involved in everything. They've got like their thumbprint on all these things. So I just think it was really a well put together thing. And from all the comments from the commits, the guys who have been there a dozen times to the guy that was there one time, they all enjoyed it and they all knew how special it was.
Well, that's unbelievable because I'm glad that you did touch on that, because that's one of the things that I've talked about for Nebraska for a while. And it's this, Brian, there's a perception that can become reality. And then without the brand being what it has been over its glory years, now you have to figure out and have creative ways. And and just for an example, I was throwing out, we were talking about some creative ways being like Coach Cook. They just had $90,000 in a freaking volleyball game. Like somebody threw out, let coach cook, and maybe the ladies run out the tunnel with them, have a brief statement on the first home game, just ways to generate that buzz again, right? But you're saying that that's happening. And I'm glad to hear that they're figuring out how to have these touch points. And so there's questions coming out. You've already touched on Brandon Baker, but tell us, there's people on the text line. Joe T on the not on the text line, but on the stream line, on the YouTube stream, is asking about also Grant Bricks. What is your words, or what have you heard about him?
Yeah, Grant wasn't on the list for this weekend, and he had kind of told me a couple of weeks ago that he didn't really kind of see as a necessity to kind of visit, any other schools before he made a decision. And he also told me that out of the 4 schools that he was considering at the time, Alabama included, that the only school that he had not seen a game at was Tuscaloosa. So, and he said that it wouldn't be necessary. So not visiting here, not visiting OU, not visiting Kansas State, and then kind of telling me that he felt like, sometime shortly after Labor Day that he would have a chance to sit down and basically come up with his decision. I think we're kind of all on commit watch, but we've been on commit watch now since the end of August. So it's stretching into week 3. Unfortunately, I don't have any better details for anybody, on that. He's definitely not sitting there looking for, advice from anybody, and he's not feeling any pressure to basically announce anything. In fact, I think pressure here would turn him off. He got back to me Friday night, basically said, not going to the game, not ready to make a decision. And that was all he said. And I tried to text him right back, and he didn't get back to me. So it's been very much like that kind of communication process with him, going back, I would say, even to June, when he was really in like the swing of all the official visits. It was the month of June, we saw a serious change in like the character of Grant Bricks, because it was so invasive to his space, invasive to his time, the things that he held dear, working on the farm, working with his family, being with his friends. There was a lot of time he had to take off from doing things, and he just wanted to kind of get back to being a kid in July. And I think that he's still kind of in that mode, and he's still trying to get things kind of figured out on his senior year, and that recruiting commitment still hangs over his head.
Okay, let's touch on that for a sec. How much pressure is on these kids making this decision? How many of them have that feeling of, I just want to be a regular high school kid, finish out my senior year? How much pressure is put on them by these coaches to recruit on the coach's timeline instead of at the kids' leisure?
Yeah, I think that you kind of see that in a little bit different categories, right? For like your 3-star guys that are getting, solid D1 attention, you're going to feel that pressure, I think, a little bit more. There's more of a game of musical chairs. When the music stops, your spot is gone. With a Grant Bricks, the number 1 inside offensive lineman according to On3, he has a little bit more freedom. He has a little liberty here to take. But I will be honest with you. I mean, as a college coach, if I was the one recruiting him and I had him in this basic, standby mode now for 4 weeks, 5 weeks or so, where we were expecting something, but we were not getting anything out of there, whether it was good or it was bad. I don't know at some point if that starts to like cross over and you wonder if you're going to really find yourself like getting a solid decision maker, like to join your football team. You obviously know that the kid is making the most important decision that he's ever made in his life up to this point. And you don't want him to rush it. But there are several guys, usually over 20 in those teams' classes so far, that they've already had a chance to get them in the boat. And now they find themselves still stuck on one and really kind of wondering like what it's going to take to kind of get him in or have him go someplace else. So this is a really slippery slope, but I think Grant Bricks he's in a little bit more of a commanding position based on his talents, his capabilities, the teams that are after him, they'll make room to keep him around. If they can get him in, even if they were sitting on 27 guys, 28 guys, they would take Grant Brooks.
All right, Brian, one home game in the books for the Huskers, couple more coming up here. Anyone confirmed for Louisiana Tech? What do you expect from this next recruiting weekend with the 2:30 kick?
Yeah, 2:30 kickoff time still tends to be a pretty good weekend. It's when you hit those 11s and those noons, man. It's just you can't get there from Texas. It's a 4-hour deal to get basically into Omaha and get back over to Lincoln. It becomes a little bit too tough. You're getting into that time there where it's just it's not productive. So for Louisiana Tech, you're getting some similar characters. The 2024 guys. A lot of the commitments will be there week after week. I'm trying to look for some unique guys that will be there next weekend. And unfortunately, right now, it's not looking like I know a whole heck of a lot by looking at my notes.
But that's okay. That just means stay tuned to Husker
We will
Online.
know a lot more. I tell you what, here's one. Brian Tutu, offensive tackle from Utah, was supposed to be in this weekend, had something come up, and that's a guy that Nebraska just offered in August. I think that he's actually working on getting in for Louisiana Tech. That's a top 2025 OT. And OT is going to be a huge part, a very important part to next year's class for Nebraska.
There you go. It's Brian Munson of Husker Online on 3 with us here on our Allo VIP line. Brian, as always, we appreciate it. Hope to get an update from you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week, my man.
Sounds good, guys. We'll see you soon.
That we will. It's Brian Munson with us on our Allo VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Let's take a break. We are back on your radio dials. Royals wrapped up a 6-4 win over the Guardians. He's Strick. I'm Austin. We'll cross it over with Old School to wrap up on the block in just a moment.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today. Found in most local grocery stores.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
LES is hosting an EV Ride and Drive event at Haymarket Park on Sunday, September 24th. Attendees can sign up to test drive a variety of electric vehicles. Visit les.com/drive to learn more.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Acres, your John Deere dealer, is offering hot financing on all new compact tractors. For a limited time, get 0% interest for 84 months when you buy any new John Deere compact tractor. And with a variety of attachments, you'll make quick work of chores around your acreage. From mowing to grading and moving large loads, Acres has a John Deere tractor to handle your toughest projects. Don't delay. Visit your local Acres store to take advantage of this great offer. Acres, solutions for every field. Offer expires September 30th, 2023, subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland, joined now by Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. Jay, happy Monday, Victory Monday.
Yeah, man, it's I wouldn't say foreign territory, but it's good territory, right?
Nice to be there. Rather here than somewhere else. You're a former running back. 2 Nebraskas go down today. That's a problem.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a former running back. I mean, I think everybody played running back at some point in time in their career. Wasn't coming here to play running back, but it's unfortunate news. You know, Gabe seemed like he was coming into his own a little bit, and it seems like every game he was kind of starting to kind of get momentum. And then even Ramir, you know, I felt like his role was gonna be bigger maybe this week, and he didn't make it through the first half. And then Gabe, I didn't think he was that hurt. So. But the good thing is, it seems like Anthony Grant, you know, took his punishment or whatever, and then came back, and you can see he was making a really conscious effort to protect the ball and ran pretty hard. So, you know, look, this is a time for isn't you know, him starting now isn't a new situation. It's just that now he has to just do it a different way, and hopefully, you know, the running back coach. You know, is obviously coaching him in, you know, where he needs to, you know, to help, you know, him, you know, with his expanded role.
Listen, the defense has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. They came in and showed out in this game. You being a defensive guy, a stud, a defensive unit that has been phenomenal, some of the best here in Nebraska. What are you seeing out of this defense and with the coaching staff on the defensive side of things that makes you, you know, feel good about what you're seeing?
Right. I mean, for them, number one, and I guess you could say, you know, starts with Coach Rule, but in particular defense, Coach White has to be on board too, is that they came in and said, nobody's cemented in positions. You got to earn it, and we're going to give everybody equal opportunity, right? So you got plenty of guys that are examples of that. Blaze Gunnerson, Singleton, Omar Brown, enough to where Miles Farmer's, you know, not let go, but he's held to, you know, he didn't reach the standard. Guys like that, and then you see how they expanded the roster with Mekhi Gaber and Ben Hart, or not Ben Hart's an offense, but Bullock and those guys. That's number one. So then you get confidence as a player because you actually see it. I call it tangible, that a coach is actually backing up words with actions with words, or backing up his words with actions. But really, you know, all the defensive coaches, even though if Terrence Knighton, Suman Cooper, well, I'm not going to assume all of them, Terrence Knighton, Cooper, Dvorak, and obviously Coach White, they seem to be really good teachers, right? And the reason why you know that is because, and you really saw it against Colorado, and you saw a little bit of it, not as much against Minnesota, but you really saw it against Colorado, especially in that first 2.5, really the whole game, is the ability to play multiple fronts in a series in multiple personnel and multiple coverages. That lets you know they're actually teaching him, and, you know, and teaching them different ways, because not all three of us learn different ways. So, you know, that's where they, you know, are, I think, are excelling. And, you know, look, Coach White said it, look, I don't need to look pretty. I just need to get the job done. And that's what they're doing. They're getting the job done, and they all know what they're doing. And the 3-3-5 helps because you can expand the roster and get additions of, you know, like John Bullock and Javen Wright, right? You say like, okay, well, you get 2 linebackers. No, you actually get 2 linebackers and 2 rovers. So you actually get 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you're multiplying your depth by having versatility.
Yeah.
And then you get Mekhi Gaber, where he can come in and he's playing the jack position. He's not really built like the other jacks, right? Because you look at Chief Borders, at least 6'4", MJ Sherman, at least 6'3", 6'4", and I know Jamari Butler is 6'4". Mekhi is maybe 6'1", right? Maybe 6'2", I don't know. But you look, first thing he did, he looks totally different. He leaned out and looks in phenomenal shape. So now he's able to use his attributes that made him, being successful so far. As that's quickness and the want to, and it started on special teams. So that's another thing that's been hammered home. He came down to Minnesota. I think he had 2 solo tackles, I think, on kickoffs or whatever. So now they're if you want to gain confidence as a coach and you're not playing, or gain confidence from a coach and you're not playing, run down there and do your job on special teams, or be a good special teams player. Especially when the thing that helped him is being on the road 2 weeks, because you only can bring 74. So now if Jay Foreman isn't performing, or I roll an ankle, or I say my helmet, even it's so simple that I tackle somebody and my helmet comes off. College, you got to come out. Well, he goes in. Colorado, boom, right? 6 tackles. He starts the next game. So, and look at the big thing coming out of camp was Chief Borders was starting. We haven't seen anything from him. You see a little bit more from MJ Sherman. You're seeing a lot from Jamari Butler. So now you see how they're multiplying in just a position, and gives you flexibility. So that's really where they're setting themselves up for success.
I'm loving the secondary. They compete. They're fighting.
Yeah.
They're there. They're not like getting.
They ain't just hanging out.
Yeah, they're not just out hanging out.
Yeah.
They're coming up. They're making plays. But tell me now, as we've seen the first home game, you saw the excitement in the stadium. What is the next step in this 2-game home stretch? Really 3, but really these 2 are important builders in the process. What do you want to see in this next game that you didn't probably see this game, but something a part of that stepstone to go to the next
Probably
step?
more consistency on the, I want to see a sense of urgency from that offensive line right from the get-go. Felt like they got their butt kicked the first 2 quarters. I mean, I felt like they did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Northern Illinois has some. They got some dudes that are probably gonna get chances in the NFL, might get drafted. I don't know their whole metrics, but they play with really good technique. They get off the ball, but if you're an offensive lineman, I got to see that attitude, and I want to see it all game. I like it at the second half, but I want to see it at the beginning, because if that's what I want to see improvement on, the intent, and that in the NBA they call it playing with force.
Mm-hmm.
In football, I want to see your intentions right.
It's different than attacking the rim, trying to lay the thing up, and then attacking the rim, trying to put somebody in the rim.
Here's the analogy with basketball. I'm going to the rim. I know I'm going to get hit. I'm welcoming the hit. That's just part of me playing basketball.
Yeah.
Versus going up and then projecting the hit and then floating and trying to look sweet. So I want to see that. I want to see, whoever starts the quarterback continue on that path of quarterback play. No turnovers from the quarterback position. Keep the offense ahead of the chains, or on schedule, and then keep throwing catchable balls. Right? You got to think. I don't know what Heinrich Harburg's stats are off the top of my head, but
14 for 24, 158.
Okay, 14 and 20. There he is, the stat man over there, Austin 316.
Yes, sir.
Right? I watched the game again last night. There's 4 drops, legit, in your hand.
Yeah,
legit.
So that's 18 to 24 right there. That's 75% completion.
Right. So you like that, right? So there's not an offensive coordinator out there that has essentially, I know Heinrich has been here, but essentially a freshman starter. My man hasn't played a meaningful game since high school. And you got to think, Strick, it doesn't matter what he does from here, right? He's earned some stripes, right? Just by him being able to complete the task of being the guy that they started last week. Because his situation is so unique, and a little bit of it, Strick, in our world is if you have a coaching or GM change, basketball and football.
Right.
Whereas we did last year. Whipple came in.
Right.
First of all, I know Heinrich. He's a good kid. He's a great kid. He's not a high maintenance kid. He's not a kid that you don't like. But for whatever reason, he didn't fit the eye of Whipple. So it was to the point that he wasn't getting coached.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't even going on road trips. He wasn't even being like coached in group. Only thing that he was able to do was run scout team. Well, he didn't like quit. You know, I'm sure he was mad. You know, we've been in those conversations. I know your dad, so I'm sure I've been talking,
Yeah. No.
But guess
you
what?
ain't going nowhere.
Right. But we had those conversations. Yeah. He very easily could have. He very easily could have transferred somewhere else because he said, you know, and you know what? He might have had every right. Just a whole year of not being coached. Then for him to welcome the coaching and the situation they got, and must have done something obviously starting in the spring for them to get out there. It's commendable. And it's somebody that you talk about intestinal or internal fortitude. You know, that's the example of it. And I think last Saturday, regardless if he starts another game, regardless if he turns into Tim Tebow, the Nebraska version, you know, he made a name for himself. And that's a good thing for the program.
No doubt.
It sounds like the start of a Jay Foreman H2 Hummer victory lap coming up on Old School.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I can't run any laps, man. But we get it. We can get a sponsor. Tell Jake we get some. I think they still make Hummers, right? We can put one right out there.
Still do.
Yeah,
wrap it up.
We can ride up and down O Street, and Heinrich can get out the sunroof and get right on top. But you know, I think on in Old School we're going to talk about where the team's at, where they're going. Obviously, I'm gonna give my and I'm sure DP will give his thoughts on the unfortunate injury news that is a part of football. We'll probably touch a little bit on that Colorado State game. Expand on the thoughts of why people see. The thing that's funny about Colorado is there's a percentage of people that want to. They're fun to watch. They're happy for Deion and all that stuff. Majority of people watch it just so they want to see him fail. That's when you're actually doing something well. Mm-hmm. Colorado's nowhere close to Alabama or Clemson or even Georgia will get there. No. They're getting more viewers based on what he's able to do in a short amount of time. And, and so you guys get, do I like Colorado? I mean, it's not my favorite. I respect him. They hit a home run in the hire. They got lucky, and their AD will tell you, but it's the perfect match. And, I think Matt Rule can do some things down here. But there's some guys that just need to step it up, though. And there's nothing wrong with telling them that.
Yeah.
I'll tell them.
I'm sure you will.
Right?
Jay'll tell him on Old School. DP stepping in. It's tricky.
You better get
first full show in the studio.
Yeah,
we did it. We
more
made
to
it.
come.
Hey, look at him cheesing.
Sir.
I've been watching you cheesing over there. Hey, Strick, you gotta tell these dudes get your weight up, man.
Hey.
Baker Mayfield ran over that little DB, told him to get his weight up. That's what I've been telling someone on the line. You better get your weight up, player.
Yeah, it's time. It's time to make a difference. And thank you for all that you do, Jay.
Yeah.
The wonderful work that you're gonna do next on Old School. But we're out of here until tomorrow, 2 to 4 on the block. We'll be ready. See you tomorrow. Peace.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Our Remington Homes has really expanded and taken off in the last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. You can select your options. We give you a lot of choices. By selecting certain floor plans, they're just easier to build. And you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand to